Good morning. My name is Sam Jordan. I'm so glad to be here. It's an honor. And thank you for the invitation, Pastor. And thank you for having me. We had a great time, and Brother David and Ryan came to Jordan together, and we had a good time there. I'm serving in a country called Jordan, and I want, first of all, thank you for your prayers and also for the support we started to receive last year, and through our partnership, we were able to touch lives and to help many people. I'm married. My wife, her name is Suzanne, and we have 4 daughters, and that's why I have white hair. A friend of mine, he said, don't think you argue with 5 females and win. Really, God blessed us with my daughters. I accepted the Lord in 1988. After that, immediately I started serving the Lord at my church. And the Lord called me for ministry. In 93, I went to Lebanon to study theology. So I spent 1 year. Then my family moved to the States here. I came in 95. I spent 1.5 years in California. And my pastor, he got sick, and he said, if you come back and help me, that will be a wonderful idea. So I prayed, and I felt God is calling me to go back to Jordan. I started my ministry there again as associate pastor. 4 months later, he was diagnosed with cancer. 7 months later, he passed away. So the church elected me to be the pastor, and since 97, I have been a pastor of Zarqa Baptist Church. Our church in a city called Zarqa, and in Jordan, we have right now we have almost 10.5 million people. 98% are Muslim. Mostly are Sunnis. We have just a minority of Shiites who came from Iraq, but we're serving in that country. And my church is in Zarqa. Zarqa is the second largest city in Jordan. It has 1.4 million people. And in Jordan, we have around 1.5 million Syrian refugees. And I want to thank you for the batteries you have purchased for the camp, the refugees camp, and you help them with electricity, to have electricity at that area. Really, God blessed us as a family there and as a pastor. And in 2009, I decided to come back to the States and to work on my master's. So I finished master's in 2013. I went back to the same church, and with a vision to train young people and also to plant churches and to encourage pastors and ministers in the country. When I went back, I saw the country packed with refugees during the war in Syria, and we started to think how we can stretch our hands to those people. We have a clinic at the church. We decided to open the door for them, and God, helped us to reach thousands of refugees through the medical clinic. At that time, we started with 20 patients a day. Now we're seeing around 120, 150 patients a day. And we established a ministry called Life Changing Ministries, and that ministry has a medical center and also women's center focusing on Syrian women who came from Syria. We do post-trauma healing and also vocational training. And during that time, we felt the kids are, in need for school. They have been in Jordan for years, and some of them have never been in a school. You ask, 12 years old boy or girl to write their names, they don't know how to write their names or to write numbers. So we decided to open a school for them. Right now we have 3 schools. We have 3 locations. One at the church. We have 100 kids, and 2 other locations at the refugees camp. We help also at the refugees camp. We take them medical team every every month. After that, we felt like we need to help them in different ways. So we started a project. I think Brother David saw that project. We help them in different ways. My wife and two other ladies, they started also a widow ministry at the church, focusing on Christian women, widows and elderly and abandoned women. So my focus on teaching and train young people for the ministry. My focus, most of my time I spend with young people. When I went back, some of the elders they told me, we don't expect that you came back as a youth pastor, but I felt this is our target as a church, to target our youth, to target our young people. If we want for the church to grow and also to continue, we need to train young people. So right now we have a discipleship program, we have training program. I teach theology. I have a class every Tuesday, and God blessed us with amazing ministry. I would like to show you a video, and after the video, I'm going to share a small message. It's just 15 minutes. It's against my nature. Usually I preach 50 minutes. If you would like me to preach in Arabic, I preach 50 minutes. And Brother David will translate.
Zarqa Baptist Church Ministries. In early 2015, Mercy Medical Clinic set a goal to help and improve the lives of refugees and underserved families through the vision of the Zarqa Baptist Church and fulfill God's message of spreading love and helping others. In order to achieve this goal, the Mercy Medical Clinic started by providing medical assistance that is free of charge, which includes daily treatment, transferring lab tests, and emergency response. At the beginning of our work, we had 20 patients per day, but now we have 120 to 140 patients per day. Through our visits to far-flung refugee camps, we have discovered a need for medical assistance, especially for elderly people and children. So we give monthly medical care to refugee camps by providing medical assistance that is free of charge and the medicines and vitamins they need. And during our medical reviews for patients, we noted that the patients suffer from a lack of health awareness. So we wanted to improve their health. We realized the importance of having awareness sessions for hypertension, diabetes, healthy meals, self-care, and personal hygiene. Other things that we observed during our medical reviews of patients were their financial vulnerability and their need for basic necessities of life. After determining the most important needs we must provide for these families, through the generosity of our partners, we were able to provide humanitarian aid that included providing milk and diapers for poor families who had children and couldn't provide basic necessities for them, food and non-food items, and domestic and hygienic supplies for families who don't have a source of income, shelter and winterization materials for families who live in dilapidated places, and wheelchairs for paralyzed and elderly patients who are unable to move. We have also provided sheep and goats to needy families in refugee camps so that they can benefit from their products and increase their numbers to improve their lives. In addition, we have provided gifts to the children in camps, cancer centers, and orphanages during the holidays, through which we expressed our support and love for them. We wish them good health and a happy life. Through the Humanitarian Aid Project, we started making visits to the families who are in need. But during these visits, we recognized a number of children who didn't go to school for 6 years because of the war and thus had declined at academic, psychological, and physical levels. Then we were convinced that it was our responsibility to assist these children. So we established 2 non-formal education schools. This program was implemented for 96 Syrian children in Zarqa and 80 in refugee camps. In order to help these children and improve their mental health, we have hired a psychological counselor in the school to help them overcome their traumas and be confident in themselves, and teach them how God will show them the way to go as they walk in faith. This has had a positive impact on their academic and psychological behavior. We have also recognized during our ministry visits that many of the ladies had suffered from trauma, so this has become one of the center's most essential goals, which is to support abused women via psychological and spiritual education. In order to achieve this goal, we established a trauma recovery course at the center, and this course has achieved many great success stories. Finally, we would like to praise and thank God who has granted blessings and wisdom to us so that we have been able to accomplish our goals despite the remarkable challenges we face across the country. Let's always remember the advice of Mother Teresa, who taught, "Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier." Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, kindness in your smile, kindness in your warm greeting.
Okay, John 4, verse 31 through 38. Meanwhile, the disciples were urging him, saying, "Rabbi, eat." But he said to them, "I have food to eat that you don't know about." So the disciples were saying to one another, "No one brought him anything to eat, did he?" Jesus said to them, "My food is to do the will of him who sent me and to accomplish his work. Do you not say, 'There are yet 4 months, and then comes the harvest'? Behold, I say to you, lift up your eyes and look on the field, that they are white for harvest. Already he who reaps is receiving wages and is gathering fruit for life eternal, so that he who sows and he who reaps may rejoice together. For in this case the saying is true, one sows and another reaps. I sent you to reap that for which you have not labored. Others have labored, and you have entered into their labor." I would like to share with you an idea. God blessed me when I read that passage. The idea of the harvest, the element of the harvest. As a Christian, we have harvest, and we are called to be involved in that harvest. There is a great principle in life. We reap that what we sow. God called us to be laborers for his harvest. And this morning I would like to share with you some elements of that harvest. First of all, to have harvest, we need to have seeds. Okay? And the truth is that without seeds, there is no harvest. And when I think of seeds as a believers, what kind of seeds we have? First of all, I believe seeds, it would be God's word, the Bible we have. And there is a hope for every person who read in the Bible. And we believe, God's word has a power. When you read the Bible, it works in your heart. If you believe in it and you open the heart and you pray and you ask God, the Holy Spirit will change your heart according to the word. So the harvest, it could be the word, the Bible we have. I remember I was 20 years old. I used to fill my backpack with 40 Bibles and walk on the street in my city, sharing the Bibles with young people, tell them, I would like to give you a gift. The most effective book in my life, changed my life. So I used to give them that until the police called the church and called the pastor and asked him to stop us. He didn't know that, and he started arguing with them. "No, I don't send people outside the church to do that." They said, it's very dangerous. So please ask your young people to stop doing that. So he asked me. I said, "Yeah, we do that." And but to be honest with you, I believe that the Bible has power in it, and the devil want to prevent people to have it or to open it or to read it. I know nominal Christians who have Bibles at their homes. One day I was visiting a family, and I asked them, "If you have a Bible?" They said, "Yes, we have a Bible. We're Christian. We have a Bible." So I asked them to bring it. They start searching for 5 minutes. At the end, they found it on the shelf, so with dust, so they don't open it. This is what I believe. Bible has power on it, and it's a seed. When people receive it, it will change their life. So the seeds also could be our testimony, our testimonies. I accepted the Lord through a testimony from a guy from Egypt. It was in 88. He shared his testimony, how God changed his life. So I felt, God is speaking to me through his testimony. And I start, imagine, is God able to change my life as he changed that young man life? And I asked God to come to my heart, and he changed me. From that night, I accepted the Lord through that testimony. I believe, every one of us, every Christian, real Christian, has a real testimony. God is real. God is alive, and he works through his daughters and sons. So our testimonies touch people's life. Maybe we start arguing with people about theology. People, they doubt about that and start arguing with us. But when we say that Jesus changed my life, I have experienced that. So I think it's a powerful seed. So I encourage each one of you at your work, at your home, at your school, share your testimony, share what the Lord has done in your life. This is a seed. You don't know, one day, a young man or a lady will come to you and tell you that, God touched her life because you testified for Christ. This is what Samaritan women did when Jesus changed her life. The Bible said that lady left her water jar and went away into her town and said to the people, "Come see a man who told me all that I ever did. Can this be Christ?" And then we read that the whole village came to the Lord and met with the Lord. Testimony is a powerful seed. It's a powerful tool. God is using that. Also seeds, it could be a good works, a good deeds. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 16, he said, "Let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." Many times, at our center, many times people ask us, "Why you do that for us? We're Muslims, you're Christians." By the way, 95% who are getting service at our clinic and community center are Muslims, from Muslim background. And they ask us, "Why you do that for us?" We tell them, openly, we do that because of the love of Christ in our heart. He loves you. He cares about you. So good deeds. Try to do something good for your neighbor or for your colleague, for others. Try to do anything you can. So good deeds, it could be our seeds. We need seeds and we need field to have a harvest. Field, it could be our families. And I believe, this is the institution which the devil is hitting badly these days. The families, the family and the church. So the family, it could be our field. Start with our family, our Jerusalem. And raising 4 daughters, sometimes I feel it's a challenge to convince them with our, the things we believe, the values we adopt as a Christians. But this is a field. Sometimes it's a easy job with easy going kids. But sometimes it's a hard job. Brother David just met my second daughter. She's 20 years old. I always encourage her to be a lawyer because she's all the time, arguing for things. And please don't tell her that I will be in big trouble. But really, it's a challenge for us. We have to pray for our families. We have to pray for our kids. It's very encouraging to see people are, willing to dedicate their kids for the Lord. And it has a power. The thing, the pastor did this morning, it has a power. It's a blessing. It will be effect for their lives because we believe that God is hearing our prayers. So our family, could be our field, or our friends, our neighborhood, our classmates at school, or our colleagues at work, or any surrounding people could be our field. We have to pray, God, open the door to share our testimonies, to share the Bible, the good news with people. So we have to, to have a field. Sometimes people are receptive to the gospel. After the war in Syria, we felt many people from Muslim background became more receptive to the gospel because they have seen terrible, ugly things during the war in Syria. And they did that in the name of Allah, in the name of their God. But, people, they start searching. Is that the real God? Is that what God is asking people to do? So people start asking. And, you feel God is opening the door. God is preparing their heart for the gospel. So we need seeds. We need a field. And sometimes people, you see people are rejecting the gospel, rejecting our testimonies. But with time, we depend on God. We depend on the Holy Spirit to soften their hearts. And through our love and compassion, people might move toward Christ. And this is what we have seen, the last 10 years. The third element is the workers. No way to have harvest without laborers, without workers. If you want to see the church packed with people, and you see people sitting on those empty chairs, we have to think how that will be happened. We are the laborers. We are God co-workers. So the harvest needs workers and laborers, and it's a team job. When the Lord said, someone will sow the seeds and the other will reap. Jesus said that the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. We need to dedicate our lives and to dedicate our gifts, talents, skills for God's kingdom and for that harvest. It's a team job, as I said. It's everybody's job. It's not just the pastor's job. It's everybody. It's not the elder's job, only the elder's job. It's everybody in church. If you're a member of God's and Christ's church, you are a worker and laborer for His harvest. We do the work depending on God for the result. The fourth element is the season. We need the right season. And the right season is now. Christ, the Lord said in John 4:35, He said, do you not say there are yet 4 months, then comes the harvest? Look, I tell you, lift up your eyes and see that the fields are white for harvest. When is the right time for the harvest? It's today, now. Any time is the right time for the harvest. Why we say that? Because first of all, Christ's work of redemption is done. Salvation is prepared. People, they can come and be saved. Today, now, anytime, people, they can come because salvation is prepared. Redemption is, the work of redemption is done. Therefore, we are in the season of the harvest. And the second thing, there's a need. A season. We have people, they need Christ. People, they need Jesus. So look around you. You can see, you can tell that, people, they need Christ. To be honest with you, between 95 and today, there is a big change in the state here. I used to listen to some preachers every Sunday morning, Adrian Rogers, John Hagee, John MacArthur, Charles Stanley, every Sunday on national TVs. Now, things changed a lot. and values is changing. That means people still need Christ here. There's big needs around us. The values, changing the values of the family, the values of the human being. So the needs. And the sign of the next coming of Christ. Can you tell that, Jesus on his way, he's coming soon. So this is the season, we have a limited time. So let's take advantage of that and share the gospel with people. And harvest, the fifth element, needed priority and sacrifices. Without making the harvest our priority and give it the sacrifices, we cannot reap. We can't reap without sacrifices. Look at verse 31 through 34. Meanwhile, his disciples urged him, "Rabbi, eat something." But he said to them, "I have food to eat that you know nothing about." I have food. What's your food? What's your food? And then his disciples said to each other, "Could someone have brought him food?" And Jesus replied, My food is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work. Jesus' priority was to save us. Jesus' priority was the harvest. What's our priority? And the pastor today, he mentioned that, the most success thing we can do to our families is to lead them to Christ, to know Christ. And without, sacrifices, giving sacrifices, give time, effort, money, dedicate our skills, dedicate our gifts, we can't experience harvest in the biblical meaning. And the sixth element is hope and trust in God for a result. Sometimes we work, we put too much effort, we spend too much time, we spend money, we do many programs, and we share, and we don't see the result in front of our eyes. And sometimes you feel, you're desperate to see some fruit. Having hope that God one day, He will, the seeds will grow and we will see a fruit of our labor. Having hope is very important. In 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 9, I love this verse. Paul said, "For we are God co-worker." We are God co-workers. I love this word, co-workers. Work with Him, and we work for Him. We work with Christ, and we work for Christ. And so we do our job, and we rely on God for the result. The last thing, the reward. The Bible tells us there is a reward when we be part of the harvest. It might cost a lot. I know a friend, it cost him his life. And it cost time, effort, money. But comparing with the reward is greater. Seeing people comes to the Lord is a great joy. Sometimes, you can't hold your tears seeing someone you don't expect that a man or a lady to accept the Lord, especially from different backgrounds. It's very joyful. It's very touchy. It touched my heart. And sometimes you can't hold your tears when they pray with you. So it's a great joy to see people comes to the Lord. But at the end, one day, He will reward you. So don't expect people to reward you. Don't expect the church or the elders or pastors. I know people, they left their ministries because they were desperate for recognition. And they are looking for appreciation from people. And I heard someone, he said, my church, they don't deserve my service. And because he's waiting the rewards from people. Our rewards from above. Amen? We do anything you do, don't look to get back from people. You get back from the Lord. He will bless you here, and also one day you will hear this word. Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. It's a great joy when you meet someone one day in heaven saying to you, I'm here because of you. So we need seeds, field, workers, what else? Season, what else? Effort, priority, sacrifice, hope. At the end, we will get our reward from heaven. Amen.